Guys, amazing job on this film. It's been a long time since I sat down and just watched a great noir movie, and I love every second of it. But David, first question for you. Matt's a pretty passive guy that's made some bad decisions and gets really pushed to his limits. What was it about the character of Matt that really interested you?
I mean, I loved the fact that there seemed to be two versions of Matt. There was the version of that Matt thought he was or thought he should be, and then there was this other version of Matt where it was kind of who he was and what he wanted, and he kept making the wrong decision of being the guy that he thought he should be, as opposed to being the guy who he was that might liberate him and might make him feel good. And I had a great sort of empathy for that. Like I've done that at various times in my life, but I liked him because he was so afraid and sort of messed up in that way. I really liked that about him.
Now, Frankie, your character almost seems like she's ripped out of a 1950s noir movie. What can you tell me about Paula?
Yeah, so Paula's like the other woman, secretary, mistress, and she has this idea that there's something better and more for her. But what I really appreciated about the script is that it's really rooted in all the noir and the sort of magic of it, rooted in the realism that like just because she has a dream to escape doesn't mean it's going to work out.
Absolutely. Now, David, Matt's life gets increasingly complicated as the film progresses. What was it about Ed Solomon's script that you really connected with?
I mean, he's such a funny, interesting writer, and he's such a smart writer. Like Ed wrote Bill and Ted's Great Adventure, like the original Bill and Ted's movie, right? Which on the surface is like a silly movie, but I think that movie is a genius movie. Like truly like up there with Citizen Kane. So there's something about Ed's writing where it is so silly, but there's also real intelligence behind it. And I remember reading the script, and there's a one scene where I go into my boss and I try to get the document, and I say things like, I'm going to have to get violent with you now. So and just this idea that this accountant who really doesn't want to do this, but really wants to threaten, has to be so kind about how he explained to him why he's going to punch you, like he might explain to another accountant how he's doing this work. I just loved qualities like that felt right on the edge of realism. Like they're real, they're grounded, but also they're just so funny and broad in a certain way. And I feel like that is something unique to Ed that is like born out of the same thing that Bill and Ted's is born out of. It's like, it's this unique quality of this silly storyteller that also can write very real scenes. It's really great.
I just love when he's threatening, like he's gonna. Now this is a punch. That's such a
going to be a punch. Yeah.
Right now, Frankie, can you talk to me about how your character Paula views Matt as he's changing throughout the movie?
So they had a plan, right? And so she thinks that he's going to carry through with the plan, and then as she realizes things haven't gone as she had hoped, I think she really goes through a process of like having to let it go, and maybe question how serious the plan was to begin with.
Absolutely. Now, look, Steven Soderbergh is a masterful director. He absolutely understands the language of film. Can you guys talk to me about the collaboration process and working with Steven? That's for either one of you.
Yeah, sure. So Steven's incredible. He is, the auteur genius we all had thought and hoped, and so it was so getting to see it in action. He's camera operating.
Right.
After we wrap in the day, he's editing. So he knows exactly what the scene is that he just shot. Should he need anything extra or not? And it always was not. He got what he wanted. And so I think what he does is he hires people and he expects them to bring their A game and make decisions and show up as best they can. And then he trusts you a lot, knowing that like he's just going to give you a couple of takes and then we're going to move on.
That's one thing I loved about this movie. It keeps you guessing all the way through. And this is what I love. I mean, I love films that make you think. So thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.